up through the snow to Sugarloaf, and it's one of the higher points on the Port Hills. You can see the Canterbury Plains, Christchurch City, Lyttelton Harbour, and you're going to go there later on today. Absolutely amazing place to be. And this is Paula Gentle, a surveyor. Now Paula, just standing here, we don't actually have an idea of how high we are. How can we find that?
Oh, well, there's many places that you can look to find out the height of things. GPS is one. It uses a heighting system, but maps have a really good record of heights. And if you have a look on this little plot, this chart here, you're able to see that the height of the point where we're standing here is 496 metres. And that means 496 metres above sea level.
Right, and I can see some other numbers on this map here and some brown lines. Can you explain what those are?
Yeah, they're actually contours. So contours are a range of heights. So here, the height between two lines here is 20 metres. So if we have a look here from where we're standing and have a look at the next contour down, you'll be able to see that it's 20 metres below us. So the closer the lines are together, the steeper it is.
Okay, so if you can imagine down on Christchurch, the Canterbury Plains, the contour lines are going to be spread way apart because it's pretty much flat, whereas if you had a vertical cliff, gosh, you probably can't even tell the difference between those lines. Would that be right?
They'll be very close together. So a cliff, the lines would almost be right on top of one another.
So how do you actually measure height?
There are many ways to do it depending on the accuracy you want. So if you want heights to the nearest metre or so, you can, and 10 centimetres or so, you can use LiDAR, which is flown. So an aeroplane flies over the top of a place like Christchurch and you can get a wide area. And I've got a plot just down here. It's like a beautiful coloured map that shows the difference in heights. So if you have a look at this grey patch here, from the quay, you can see that it's 6 metres high in this area here. But then if you look at the blue, it's actually closer to sea level. So you know the heights are around 0.
And you had a look at that LiDAR with Steve on Tuesday and how we could use that information to talk about flood risk, find out the areas that were more at risk of flooding. So, not just talking about flood risk, why else would it be important to know the height of land, especially when you consider Christchurch? Look, it doesn't even look like it has any change in height. It's pretty much flat.
No, you're right. It does look pretty flat. But height is so important when it comes to drainage and pipes flowing in and out of your house. So if water flows downhill. So if you know which part is the higher point, even on an area that looks quite flat, you can see where the water's going to flow.
And I see you've got some tubes there. Can you explain why you've got those?
Yeah, must look a bit funny. I'm just going to demonstrate the effect of the height change due to the Canterbury earthquake. In some areas, the heights, there's so subtle, there was subtle difference before the earthquake that the earthquake actually shifted some heights and water flowed in a different direction. So what I've got here is the water pipe, and as you can see, the water, once it's steady, sits at the same level. So that doesn't matter if it's beside each other or further apart. So if you could imagine that this is a pipe that your water flows through from your house, and I'll just pass it to Jen here, and she's going to pretend to be the sewage plant. So if you have this pipe here, and generally the water will flow up and out. But if when the earthquake happened, because the heights around Canterbury aren't actually that severe, the heights can shift quite directly. So if the heights change and go down, the water's going to flow the wrong way and sewage can end up coming out of people's toilets.
So you can see it's absolutely critical that we know the heights of the land in Christchurch, so we know that the pipes are still downhill so the water can flow downhill, because goodness me, otherwise you could end up with sewage in your house.